Welcome back to the Civic Coupe builds. If you're here just for the brake swap, go ahead and fast forward to this point in the video because I've got a lot to catch you guys up on before I get into that. So obviously this is past the date where autocross was supposed to take place, so I did not make it to autocross. Believe me, I really wanted to go. I had a whole video idea planned out for it and it just didn't pan out. I ran into a couple of things, but I don't regret getting to work on the project because I got a lot of stuff done to it, and I'll definitely try to be catching the next one. And I needed a few more parts, and it's just not worth it for me to go try to race my car when I know it's not ready yet. Some things you have to take your time with and make sure you have all the right stuff on your car before you go out and drive it. First problem I ran into is the spacing, and I found after doing a little more research that this is a problem a lot of people have had when they put the extended ball joints on their car. And on top of that, my car is lowered. It has the shortened Skunk 2 suspension on it, so that may be adding to what's happening, but my lower control arm was hitting the inside of my rotors. And I actually ruined my rotors. So I gotta get some new ones for it. And I literally just like drove it down the driveway and like back up. It happened that fast, they were already gone. I actually jacked the car up and saw that the wheels were spinning, and I'm like, I don't know what the problem is. Let it back down, rolls another couple feet, and I'm like, okay, something is happening here. So what fixed the problem on that, and this is pretty much the main reason I didn't go, is I needed some spacers. And what people suggested online from what I found doing my research is using some 3mm spacers from Spoon. There's also some spacers that this company Titan makes, and if you just do a little bit of modifying, you can put them behind the rotor. This way it pushes everything out, pushes your rotor out, pushes the wheel out, and you also have to make sure that you space the caliper out. So just everything out. I would say 3mm is maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, but it's not very much, but that's all that it needs. Once I put those on there, I drove it down the road and the brakes work great. I mean, way less braking effort, I guess you would call it, is needed in order to like stop the car significantly. And I think it's because I did a proper job of converting to rear wheel disc brakes by using the correct proportioning valve, master cylinder, brake booster, everything from an Integra, including the calipers. It's all Integra, so it worked great. Other than my spacing problem, which was kind of in a sense unrelated to the brake conversion, because that I believe came just from the extended ball joints. With that out of the way, the car was moving again. I had already missed autocross, and I probably would have made another update video on the Civic at this point, except for the fact that then my ECM goes out. Is it the ECU or is it the ECM? I'm just gonna say electronic control module. I forgot what it's technically called. I don't think it really matters if it's called a unit or a module, but ECM. The capacitors finally went out on my ECM, and I found that this is a somewhat common issue on Civics of this age, especially the OBD1. Your check engine light will not turn off, but it will have no codes. I mean, my car will sit there and spin all day. I tried the master relay. I swapped that out. That wasn't the problem. I'm getting signals. I even took a power probe and directly primed the fuel pump, and the fuel pump is working fine when it gets power to it, and tried cranking it while priming the fuel pump, and it still won't fire. So that leads me to believe that the capacitors on the ECM finally got out, and I'm not getting anything on the injectors or anything like that. So I did order another P28, and I know that you can get these repaired, and I do plan to get the one that's in my car repaired, but I want 2 of them.
You know, let's make it 2.
I don't really plan on doing a motor swap anytime soon, and even if I do, I'll probably end up putting the Z6 that I have in my car in another car if I did swap the red car. So I want these ECMs around. All right, so I know there's a lot to catch up on. I have been working on the car in the background. Obviously, I just released the VTEC tuning video last week. If you haven't seen that, go ahead and check that out. It's awesome. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this rear disc brake conversion. I start off by refurbishing the rear trailing arms, and then I put the new bearings and then the rotors and calipers on there and then install on the car. But all right, here it is. Got to cut this dog bone out. It's got 2 pieces of rubber connecting it right here and right here. So I've got to cut this out first, and then I can push this ring out. So all this rubber has got to be burned off. Next, I got to get this ring out of here. All right, this is the inside of the trailing arm pointing towards the inside of the car, and you've got to hit this ring outward. Might have went just a little bit too hard right there. All right, so I've got to burn all the rubber off of this Just gonna be holding it with some pliers here. I've got this propane torch. I bought this for 25 bucks. I hear there's another one with a yellow bottle. That's MAF gas, I think it's called, and it burns a little bit hotter, but I didn't have any problem using the propane one. I like to kind of get something kind of burned off first, and then kind of get it to roll around the whole thing. Seems to come off pretty easy that way. Just hold it with the pliers and then light it up. Alright, so I am now going to press the rings inside of my trailing arms. So when you guys do this, you want to make sure that you get the ring within spec. You want to get it within 10 to 12 millimeters. See that right there? I'm right about 11 millimeters if I can hold it flat. You can measure on this side. You can measure on this side. You should measure on both sides. So I'm about 11 millimeters on both sides there. Alright, so here's how I'm going to get this in there. I got the energy suspension bushing. Obviously I just pressed in my ring, so I'm ready to go there. What I'm going to do is simply, I bought this, put together this little press, if you could even call it that. It's just a large bolt. It's actually just a 1/2-inch bolt with a nut and pretty much the largest washers that I could find. You could double up the washers, of course, but I just thought having one with an actual 1/2-inch hole would be the easiest since I got a 1/2-inch bolt. So just gonna slide that on there and then put the other wash on the other side. Only thing is I'm gonna need 2 pieces of steel backing it up. So this way it can push all the way through, and I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that right now. But before I do that, energy suspension does give you some of the stuff to grease up the bushing, so I'm going to go and grease it up real quick. Got another piece of angle iron I'm going to put on the other side, and what that does is just allows the bushing to travel all the way through, because otherwise it's going to stop right before it can get through the center if you don't have something on the outside of the arm. You can see it's just covering the arm, so this way the bushing can push all the way through. A lot of prep work to get these things on here, but at least pressing them in is easy, I guess. I got my energy suspension trailing arm bushing pressed in. Looks good, excited about it. It's really not that hard. If you just buy that $20 torch I was talking about, you can get it going pretty easily. So here's the deal with these. Here's what the packaging looks like. And I want to make sure that I suggest or I give you guys good information for anyone who watches this channel. So I've read a lot of bad reviews about these trailing arm bushings after I had bought them. So in hindsight, I think I probably would have went with OEM. But just so you guys know, I'm gonna try these out because this is what I have for now. And I've got to have the car ready this week. I'm like down to the wire, and I don't have time to order more parts, nor the cash flow, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna try to give you guys a review on these later after I use them. So if you're trying to do some trailing arm bushings, as of right now, I would not suggest buying these. Not that I know for a fact that they have a problem. In fact, if you have some of these and you've had a good experience with them, like maybe comment down below your experience. I've just read that a lot of people have experienced the rear suspension like locking up because these trailing arms don't allow full motion, and I can see where they're coming from because normally the regular trailing arm bushing just has like 2 points where it holds the rubber together, or the dog bone rather. I'm supposed to suggest something right now, probably like I said, the OEM or even the HardRace, which HardRace is great. I would totally suggest HardRace as a company in general. They make really quality stuff. Alright, I'm gonna remove these rear arms. Got to remove this right here, 1 bolt down here, and it might be also helpful to remove the bottom of your shock. And then there's 2 bolts holding on the dog bone for that bushing that we changed, and then there is 1 bolt way up in there that you're gonna have to get to at the end of the trailing arm, and you're gonna have to remove the inside bolt and probably remove the arm with the trailing arm with the little control arm attached to it. I don't know if there's another way you can do that, and then you can remove that control arm. Also, if these bolts come out, then count your blessings, because so far I've already done the other one, it's came out fine, but on the trailing arms that I refurbished, it was not like that. They were rusted pretty bad. I didn't leave them outside, I put them in storage, but the person I bought them from obviously left them outside, and what happens is this rubber bushing has a metal bushing inside of it, and that like rests onto the bolt, making it pretty much impossible to get out without cutting it and needing a new arm. And with as close as autocross is, I'm probably not going to have enough time to get new control arms, so I'm really hoping that this one comes out smooth as well. Alright, this is going to be 134 foot-pounds. Now I'm going to attempt to try to get some of the brake fluid sucked back with this pump right here. We'll see what happens. Obviously this has been a whole brake conversion and a lot of brake fluid's been dumped out of this thing, so hopefully I can get it to suck back through the system. I bought a ton of .4. There it goes. First little bit's coming through. Alright, so I've got my brake cables right here. Fingers crossed, it looks like they're actually going to reach, which is awesome. I wish I could tell you guys if these are from a 4-door or a 2-door. As far as them reaching, it looks like they're actually going to reach. So here is the car. The brake swap is completed as it sits here in hot rod hell or project purgatory. But I'll be getting that P28 ECU in soon, ECM, like I was talking about earlier. And hopefully she will be up and running. I miss it, I miss my baby, this is my baby. And it just kills me to see her sitting out here collecting dust when I could be just driving or having a great time. More video on this to be coming. I didn't want you guys to feel ghosted who've been following the series. And if you guys are trying to do a brake swap on your car, I really do try to be thorough on this channel when I get technical about any sort of modifications that you're doing to your car. So definitely check out the other part to this, is the part where I do all the front end stuff, literally everything on the front end that needs to be done, including the 1-inch master cylinder, the brake booster. Also, if you guys are looking for more awesome Honda content, you should definitely check out this channel I found called Krafting Cars with a K. He is doing some sort of like crazy custom body kit on his 6th gen coupe. I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like some sort of Tron stuff. All right, have a nice day.